tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Don Black. Joining me, as always, Ashley Hobler.
Dylan, excited to be here. We're 24 hours away from the next state of play. What craziness are we going to get?
Do you want to move the show's release date again? I mean, they keep doing these fucking they're
putting them on a Thursday. I mean,
they keep fucking. That's what they keep doing. Yeah. So state of play.
See, I thought you were like breaking the show there for a second. We're asking me seriously.
I mean, no, stop the show. Let's just announce. Let's tweet it out now. Plaid has now moved days. It's releasing on.
No, but then they'll just change it again. So I mean, there's no point. True. There's no winning.
They do base the release date of these things on this show.
Purely on our show. Not any other PlayStation podcast, just our show.
What are you expecting?
Well, they said third party, so I don't expect any like first party stuff. I think.
You fucking nailed it! You cracked the code.
I suspect there'll be a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Chaos
Stranger's
one
Paradise.
or 15.
Or both.
I predicted. Obviously, we got the rumor that Ilphonic's working on a Ghostbusters game.
That was
would
more
be
or
a
less
good time to show it. Yeah. The co-founder came out and said they're working on it.
We've got a Ghostbusters game on the way. Yeah,
on a podcast, completely unaware it was being recorded at the time, apparently, during an interview. But yeah, now would be a goodish time to announce that that's coming out in the works. You know, obviously with the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie not far away. But other than that, I don't know.
He never said in that interview.
Craziness.
He never mentioned, like we've only just started, or like they may be trying to tie it up with the release of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Would make sense.
Okay, another tie-in. They show Spider-Man in Avengers. Come on.
Never releasing. Put
it on the box.
No, the only thing I would probably expect is something Square Enix related. So either Final Fantasy Stranger's Paradise or Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. One or both or something, I guess, would make sense. And then probably something Ghostwire Tokyo. Because that's still a PlayStation exclusive. That's the last of that thing that's still got to come and be a thing. And then probably at least one or two of those fucking third-party indie games that we're still waiting from the initial reveal PlayStation, like Stray or something. Yeah, that or some of that. Surely.
Yeah, I was going to say Volcano High, but they said that's already been delayed.
So they've delayed that, so I don't think we're seeing any of that. But I'd say Stray or Devil in Me or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Dylan, what do you think the odds are that they show a Deathloop trailer?
I would give them mad respect if they kind of played into the memes at this point and the show starts with a Deathloop trailer and then rewinds.
Like an Accolades trailer? Yeah.
Some shit like that, Accolades. You know what? Just fucking do it. I would love to be sitting there, wait for the live stream to go, and then it starts with a fucking Deathloop trailer. I wouldn't even get angry. I'll just be like, you know what?
Yep.
See the year out.
It'd be great. Yeah, just see all the action videos pop up on the internet. It'd be perfect. Are you expected to be underwhelmed or?
Yeah.
With this state of play? Yeah. Is that where you're going in?
I go into every state of play to be underwhelmed at this stage. If I come out whelmed, I'm pretty happy. If I come out happy, I'm fucking shocked, the bar's always sort of one step down. So I'm going in and completely expecting to be underwhelmed. This ain't Nintendo. Sony's not good at these. I know it's a PlayStation podcast, but if I can go to a Nintendo Direct and I'm usually pretty happy. And there's usually some surprises. State of plays, quite often I'm not particularly blown away. That's the standard. The rarity is to be happy with one of these things. More often than not, it's just that was a state of play. You know? Which is why this thing, by the way, in case people aren't aware, Thursday, I don't think I said the time, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, right? So I can't stay home. I got to go to work. So the plan is, and I said this off podcast, but like just to put into perspective about how much little no hope I had for this. If this was in a world where these things were usually much more exciting, maybe I organize. Maybe I fucking even dig in and say, here, take an hour of my annual leave, you know, and I'll start later. In a world where these state of plays were usually performative enough that it would be worth doing something like that. But instead, I'm just going to drive to work early, sit in my car, watch this. It'll finish at 8:30 or whatever, and then perfect timing. I can walk straight into work, you know. But I'm not taking. I can't because I just think my expectations are so low that I'm not willing to be like, I'll take an hour off or something. I don't know.
No,
not going to happen.
So if you're wondering if we're going to put...
You want to put that in perspective, though? The last Nintendo Direct had a bunch of indie games and shit like that. Hey, I'm going to come into work 45 minutes late. I'll stay an extra 45 minutes. Whatever. Like, I did a thing. You know why? It was worthwhile. You know why it was worthwhile? Fucking Bayonetta, baby!
Never heard of it.
Was not let down by that one. So
this is a PlayStation podcast.
I'm just saying, we do the PlayStation podcast, but I keep it real, you know. PlayStation and these state of play things, they're not usually that great.
So what you're saying is we're not doing a special episode.
We may. See, yeah, I know. Michael already asked this on a Discord, right? Here's the thing with that. I think you're busy that night.
Yep.
Yes, from my memory. So you're busy that night. So if something really cool happens, we could be like...
We'd have to squeeze it in.
We could potentially...
in a tiny window.
Do it in a...
things.
Yes, we could make it, or we could do it the next day. I don't know, something. Like, look, if something's big enough, we'll do a bonus episode. If there's only like... It's a mediocre.
If it's the things we just said it was going to be, we'll talk about next week.
Yeah, we'll just talk about it next week. So if any of those things is the rounds it out, it's just going to be next week's episode. I'm sorry. So that's Stranger's Paradise.
If it turns out it's a Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, all right, we'll do one. Right? It has to be that level at this stage. But yeah, this is a list. Let's clarify the list. We will not be coming back anytime this week. If it is combination of either and or both Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy Stranger's Paradise Chaos Edition, Naruto the game, Bleach the game. I've already forgot Ghostwire Tokyo, Devil Inside Me or The Devil at Me or whatever that game's called, Stray, or have I forgot something? No, whatever, any of that.
Or Deathloop.
Deathloop. We're definitely not coming back if it's fucking Deathloop. You know what I will come back for? Bloodborne remake. Bloodborne 2, their first party, I guess. But, you know, Haymaker.
Maybe.
Who knows? Yeah, they could be
maybe not initially.
Maybe, yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit. Ape Escape.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Deep dive on the Ape Escape.
Don't push me.
You know?
Pardon me, my chance to reach out to Shannon from Press Start. He's a big Ape Escape fan, I think. So. Yeah. That's it. There's nothing else. Metal Gear Solid. That was
Metal Gear Solid.
That's what we need. All right. We spent
something Kojima related.
Yeah. We're 10 minutes memeing here, so let's actually just cover the couple news stories for this week. So, the big PlayStation thing at the start of the week. Of course, Sony continues bringing PlayStation exclusives to PC with God of War, writes Kotaku. God of War will be the last PlayStation exclusive to come to PC, and you're listening for the 2018 game action. Revealed it will be coming to Steam next year on January 15th, 2022. It'll be priced at Australian $74.95 and join the company of several first-party PS4 exclusives as Sony tries to give some of its biggest blockbusters a second life on other platforms. Long story short, it was announced. Most people went, yep, cool, saw that coming. And then there's still these people. I really thought they'd be past it at this stage. Like you'd look in the reply, so like PlayStation tweets and stuff, or Cory Barlog tweets, or whoever, and these motherfuckers are still like, "Oh, I paid for my PlayStation to get an exclusive. Blah blah blah. I guess I'll just fucking sell my PlayStation and buy a PC now, dude." You know, like some.
I mean, sure, if you want to wait 3 years for every one of these releases.
Yeah.
You want to wait till the next game's coming out. This is when they come to PC.
God of War Ragnarok is not going to come to PC at launch. God of War Ragnarok will come to PC a couple years after, presumably. That's
a few years after, maybe.
Yeah, that's
like when they're doing the lead up to the next one.
Yeah. Spider-Man will probably be the next thing that's ported over, right around the time where they want to get people excited for Spider-Man 2. Yeah. Like, there is a pattern, and I think it's pretty obvious at this stage. Sony is both using the PC ports to, of course, make some more money, obviously, but also as a marketing way to get people talking about, or get PC people to potentially want to buy a PS5. Makes sense to me. So they put God of War on PC, bunch of people play it, they go, this fucking game's awesome, and then they go, Sony, when can I play Ragnarok? And they go, no PC release date announced, however, if you buy a PlayStation 5, or actually a PS4, off you go.
Probably PS5 would be a better choice.
I mean, PS5 would be a better choice, but they're harder to get. And I forgot for a second that they're still doing it. It's a PS4. It's a PS4 release as well. It's one of those ones. Remnants. Like Horizon. What is a PS5 game? I don't know. Not that they exist. Yeah, what do you think? It's non-story, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it makes complete sense. They make a bunch of money. And, good promotion for Ragnarok. And we get to see all the funny memes, all the funny mods that they're going to do. Thomas the Tank Engine's everywhere.
Thomas the Tank Engine as...
Right, that's the thing.
What's the bad guy's name that chases you? The whole game? No, whatever his name is. Boulder. Yeah, Boulder's Thomas the Tank Engine.
Imagine. Oh, well, you could imagine you could redo that opening fight as any combination of superiors.
I'm saying it like this is part of the game. This is specifically for people who mod the game. Like, you wouldn't be able to do this. This isn't.
No, we won't be able to do this, but people who mod the game.
Yeah, and know how to mod stuff.
Yeah.
But how even Corey tweeted something about Thomas the Tank Engine or whatever. It's just to clarify, it's not part of the feature set of the PC release that you can swap character models in and out. You have to know how to mod a PC game.
How to do it, yeah.
Also, interestingly, Pushko wrote, God of War's PC port to PC is not being developed in-house by Santa Monica and instead has been outsourced to Canadian team Jetpack Interactive, according to a statement sent to Ars Technica. The series creator will oversee the project. The platform holder roped in an external team to develop Horizon Zero Dawn's computer-based conversion, but Days Gone was handled internally by the original developer of Sony Bend. So interestingly, it's not Nix's, which you would assume it would have been, because that's Sony's we brought them to literally do ports, but then we don't know how long the God of War PC port has been in development. Maybe it started a little bit prior to them buying. Nix's they only purchased within the last 6 months, so and this is coming out in the next couple months, so it probably just lines up in that timeline where they didn't quite have Nix's yet, but so it'll be interesting to see what Nix's first one is. Could be Spider-Man, I guess, because I still think that's probably the next one on the list, PC port wise. So that might be what they're onto. But
you assume that's the next first party game to come out after
God of War.
God of War, yeah.
I'd assume so. That's where my money is. But yeah, so that's, if you're wondering who's doing it, they've outsourced it to another company that's done a bunch of ports and stuff like that. It's another porting company, but it's not the one they purchased. Talking about Spider-Man though, this was a weird story, but Kotaku, Spider-Man writer claims Aunt May almost wasn't in the game because she was too old and wrinkly. Kotaku writes, It's hard to imagine Marvel Spider-Man on PS4 and later PS5 without Aunt May. She played a pivotal role in the game, appearing in many cutscenes alongside other main characters in the story. Yet, according to Dan Slott, Insomniac wasn't sure if it could create a realistic and good-looking old character in the game due to older wrinkles. Instead, the studio wanted her to only appear as voice over the radio. In an interview with Games Radar, Marvel Comics writer Dan Slott, who contributed to 2018 Spider-Man, explained the whole Aunt May situation. According to him, early on in game development, he learned that Insomniac didn't want Aunt May in the game as a physical character, even though Aunt May is one of the most important characters in Peter Parker's life. The studio was concerned about how wrinkly and old she was. Quote, they were telling me the reality of it. According to them, old characters, wrinkly characters, to make them look good and realistic, it takes a big amount of work, equal to what they could use to create 5 other characters. So the plan at first was just to have Aunt May call Peter and talk to him over the phone and radio and never have her appear in the game as an NPC or physically modeled character. But Slott pushed back on the decision, telling Games Radar he was adamant that Aunt May needed to be in the game, not just as a voice you hear on the radio. According to Slott, he finally convinced Insomniac to include May in the game, after explaining to the devs that she doesn't have to be that old to still be Aunt May. Saying, he continued, quote, look, Marissa Tomei, who plays Aunt May in the MCU films, isn't that old. Aunt May doesn't have to be super wrinkly. She can be less wrinkly. What a story.
What a story. I mean...
And the thumbnail picture they've chosen for this article is pretty good, because it is literally Aunt May, like, almost side-eyeing. This is one of those, like, sort of funny just video game things where, like, it's not even like a get angry at Insomniac because they were, like, it does sound like a legit sort of problem that we just wouldn't understand from game development. Someone would be like, look, wrinkles are hard. Like, but what do we do to solve this problem? I like how their solution is, we can't do wrinkles, so kick Aunt May out of the game, not de-age her slightly. You know, like, it's just...
I mean, yeah, it's so silly. It's like, yeah, I don't know how to put it into words. It's like, I imagine they were all thinking of, like, Rosemary DeWitt from the first movie.
Yeah, trilogy, yeah.
Like, trying to create that type of an Aunt May, but, you know. I can't imagine a Spider-Man game without Aunt May in it. Especially the Spider-Man game we got. I mean,
neither.
You didn't even try to do like some concept art or stuff before you like shot the idea down.
It's really weird. And she's so integral to that game.
I mean,
like, how
you have
do you
the
do
option
the end of
to
that
not
game?
make it wrinkly.
Like, I don't want to
not
spoil
all old people are wrinkly.
That's true. I don't spoil it because, you know, because people still haven't played it and we're just talking about it being ported to PC and maybe that thing. But, like, imagine the end of that game, how important she is to the end of that game. How do you do that without her in the game? Like,
over the radio.
I don't think that works. I really don't think it has the same emotional resonance as, without her actually being there. So,
no, the doctor tells him Spider-Man the news over the radio.
I don't think that's a thing. All right, then one other quick game-related game. Oh, you know what we're coming to. Related little tidbit is that Beat Games finally announced that Beat Saber multiplayer is finally on PSVR. So this came to Oculus and everything like a while back, but if you want to play multiplayer in Oculus, you can now do that. So you can play versus random people, you can jump in with friends and verse each other, trying to get the highest scores or whatever. You pretty much you can, like, you're in a big space or whatever, and you can, like, look over to your right or whatever, and you'll see someone else's avatar, like, doing a song, and you'll be able to see scores happening at the same time, and, like, who's coming first and that sort of stuff. So I know people have been asking for that for a while because it did release ages ago. It's a free update, so if you're still playing Beat Saber on PSVR, there's a new option for you. Nate, no!
No! This isn't the segment anymore.
Yeah, we changed it to PlayStation Productions, but now it's officially. Let's bring it back. It's just the Uncharted segment this week. Uncharted official trailer release. Now, before we get into the trailer and talk a little bit about it, I just want to say how crazy it is to finally have a trailer of this movie, because I honestly feel like I was doing this stupid segment, which then just morphed into let's just talk about old PlayStation adaptation, like movie, TV stuff. But I feel like been doing that for so long, covering like the tiniest little news stories. They were filming it like all last year, COVID shutdowns. Was talking about bloody Tom Holland Instagram stories and all this sort of stuff. I mean, they've been kicking around the
we started talking about it before COVID started, so
fucking hell.
So it's been 20, 30 years now. So.
Yeah. I mean, and then all the like just keeping up the news stories anyway for the past couple of years, where it's like, you know, the 2011 or whenever they first started working on it, and it's been originally supposed to be Mark Wahlberg as Drake, and you know, so
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci is fucking Sully. What a weird world we were in. All right, Ash, what was your initial take on the trailer? Like, what do you think?
It looks good. It looks like it's going to be really fun, at least, you know. I think the first thing that struck me is, like, obviously Tom Holland sounds nothing like Nolan North. It's like, oh, it's weird sound. And then, obviously, they've just completely... They're not following strictly the games. I think it's pretty obvious to tell based on the origin story for Nathan Drake in this. Very much not the origin of him and Sully meeting in like Uncharted 3. You know, it just seems like this is their first time they're ever going to meet and that kind of stuff. But you know, I think it just has like a fun charm about it. It's like, yeah. I mean, they seem to be using interesting, like pulling set pieces and elements from all the other games. Obviously, we get the cargo plane sequence. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. As long as you can like get past it not being canon. I guess it's not a direct adaptation of any of the games, and it seems to have its own backstory and history. So as long as you can get on with that, I think you'll have a good time. But yeah, what were your first impressions?
Not loving it.
You're like not loving it.
I'm not loving it. I think so. It's not. I say on here all the time. You know, it's like I'm not looking for direct adaptations, and you know, everyone looking for everything to be 100% spot on from the games when they turn it into movies, etc., etc., etc. That's all I'm looking for. But if I boil down to me, like, what is Uncharted? It's not the action set pieces. It's actually the characters. And I don't feel like at all anyone in this movie portraying any character from the game seems anything like. And I don't mean looks. It's nothing to do with looks. It's just personality and everything. I don't see it. I don't see Nathan Drake in Tom Holland at all. I don't see Sully at all in Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg just looks like he's doing Mark Wahlberg. I guess you could say that girl doing the weird Australian accent is Chloe. I guess, like, but she has the least in the trailer, so she'd definitely rank first if I'm ranking which scene the closest to their video game counterparts. But I think the other thing was, so when they announced it was, you know, younger, he was going to be younger Nathan Drake, and you were going to have younger Sully and all this sort of stuff. I was like expecting like actual young Indiana Jones type thing or something. I don't know. But as soon as the trailer starts and he's working in a bar and all this sort of stuff, and then there's just so many other elements where I'm like, oh, so he's not like super young. They're still portraying him as being like mid-20s or something. Like something like that.
Although it's hard to tell because obviously Tom Holland's babyface.
But he's working in a bar. So, you know what I mean? Like, but they're portraying him like to be somewhat older than he is. So it's not like as young. I actually thought that he was going to be maybe like 18 younger. So I don't know. I thought they were going with that whole thing with Tom Holland still. Using him for what he's mostly used at, which is his young looks to play the younger characters. And none of the line, there's just no, again, not the looks, that's not nothing. But where's the jokes? Where's that Nathan Drake humor? Where's the smart ass thing? I've seen people point out online, and I went back and rewatched the scene actually the other night. after the trailer. But you know the plane sequence at the end, and someone's like, well, when that dude, like, they've made sure to include that one dude who falls off the plane, but instead of in the game, when that dude falls, Drake goes, "See ya," as this dude like falls back, which is very in line with him in that game, whatever. However, in the movie, when that one dude falls, doesn't say anything. He just like looks. Off this dude goes. Like it makes this version of him seem a lot less callous or whatever.
That's like an ADR thing you can throw in.
Possibly, but
it could be like, it could just be a trailer thing as well.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they need to have that. I'm not saying they need to have that line in that moment. It's just something you can pinpoint to go, well, here's one scene they're going, let's recreate this scene from the game. And what they've done is they've recreated the look, they've recreated the plane with the, you know, the cargo thing like falling out. I'm sure at the end of the trailer where you see him like floating through the sky, presumably they're just going to have him, spoilers, they're going to have him like float over to the box, grab the fucking parachute and land safely or something along that. If they're doing like, let's do a full recreation of the scene sort of thing. However, like it is a scene I can pinpoint to and go, personality wise, there's nothing Nathan Drake in this to me. There's no smart ass snarky humor, and that's literally what made Drake in the games. There's Sully again. It's just Mark Wahlberg being Mark Wahlberg. There's no hey kid, you know, like there's none. I don't see it. I don't get any of that Sully feelings at all. I just get fucking Mark Wahlberg. It's just Mark Wahlberg being Mark Wahlberg. And then I also realized watching this how much I'm like, fuck. What the hell's Elena? Like, it's just, you kind of forget how big, I guess, having Elena be part of the crew makes it feel like an Uncharted game. Like, and it's even that thing where, oh, fuck it, I'm just spoiling Uncharted games a little bit. I don't care at this stage. They're old. It's a PlayStation podcast. You know, in Uncharted 4, you play half that game without Elena basically being in it once you leave for the mission at the start. And then by the time she actually shows up, on the island or whatever they're finally, it was like, oh, thank God Elena's back, you know, because I was like, now it feels more like here's the crew, you know, it's Elena, Sully, Drake. So, yeah, look, I hope it's good. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe it's just, maybe you can watch it and just turn off the whole Uncharted brain thing, and maybe it's a perfectly enjoyable, like, just action movie or whatever. But as far as going, like, is this a good adaptation based on the trailer? I'm going to say no, because the only things they're getting right is, like, they're like, oh, look, his costume's sort of the same. Or, like, here's this sequence from the game, remember this? And then there's even that one shot in the opening, which they never show again in the trailer, but it's in that, like, quick, like, pre-trailer bullshit thing, is they have that one shot, which is very obviously the Pirates Cove thing from Uncharted 4, where he's, like, looking there. So they've obviously grabbed a bunch of random sequences from the games and gone, this is what the people want. And maybe that's what people want. Me personally, I want the characters to feel like the characters. Not look like, not be exactly like, but at least carry the defining characteristics that made those characters so lovable in the first place. You know?
Yeah, I get that. I don't think I think it's tough to translate that in a trailer. And what they're going for with this trailer, I very much feel like is, look at these big action spectacle moments. You know, let's have this chase through the rooftops or whatever. Let's have the big cargo plane thing. I think you get small moments like, obviously, the Scottish guy yelling at him and him just going, what? That feels like a very Nathan Drake moment.
I'll say that's like the one moment that does feel like a...
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like they could add like a bunch of ADR. Like, a lot of people are asking for when, you know, he falls out of the plane. Like, him to go, no. You know, that kind of stuff. I think that those things can be easily fixed. But yeah, I'm hoping, like you said, there's a bit more character work in the actual movie once we get a bigger look at it. And obviously, it's set to come out in like 4 months' time. So 3 or 4 months. So, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, something else doesn't come along and derail it again.
What do you think of, I forgot so in this they have the ring, Drake's ring.
Yes.
With the sick harvest magma on it and all that sort of stuff. But they say it's his brother's or what? Like, they're now saying that it's...
Yeah.
They're completely changing the... Which I'm okay. Like, I don't need them to do... It's like, that part I don't really care about.
I think...
Just, what do you think of that? Like,
I think it's just an easier way to explain it than, I stole this ring from a church because I believe it's mine. I think that probably... It would surprise me if that's like a reveal. Because they're talking about Magellan in this one, right? That's who they...
I believe so, yeah.
I think so it wouldn't be surprised if they were to do a second movie, it would be more Francis Drake focused. It's like, oh my god, I'm actually a descendant of Francis Drake. And, you know, I'd be interested to see how much they work Sam into the plot. Obviously, them bringing him up.
We don't know any casting, so, like,
you know,
could be a secret, could not be, I don't know.
Could not be, you know? And then, yeah, Elena obviously is like the other big character you hope to see in a sequel, assuming we get that far. Yeah, I mean, there's interesting elements. I think it, obviously them throwing the cannon out the window to a certain degree, like, kind of keeps things interesting for fans as well. Because obviously you don't know what direction they're going to go and when certain characters are going to show up and that kind of stuff. Yeah. What do you think of the bad guys? Like, they seem like Uncharted bad guys.
But Antonio Banderas being Antonio Banderas, and then you've got that girl from Sabrina.
Yep.
That's as far as my thought process got watching it, and I really have spent no time considering anymore.
No, yeah.
I don't care about the bad guys.
So, like most Uncharted villains.
Yeah. I don't remember anything about any Uncharted villain at all, other than the one that looks like Helen Mirren. Because it looks like Helen Mirren. Otherwise, I don't, like, the only question I have villain-wise, or like just general, are they going to go there in these games, is, are they going to make sure it's all just dudes shooting guns, or are they going to do what the first game did and be like, oh shit, supernatural twist, and it's not a fake out, like it's real? Are they going to, like, surprise people? Or, like, nah, cinema audiences might not buy that as much, like non, like, already gaming fans or whatever. But that's obviously something that they may or may not do, because nearly older games obviously have some supernatural elements thrown in of sorts. So just makes you wonder if that's going to be in the movie franchise or not.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nathan Drake hallucinates at some point. Is all I'm saying.
Maybe. But yeah, Antonio Banderas will do some big, villain speech, and
I mean, what are we putting the odds of Mark Wahlberg having the mustache by the end of the movie?
I fucking hope not. I just think he'll look terrible with it. Like, it's less the looks. Again, it's this. I don't even care if he has a mustache. It's just I'm like, it's all his lines. Like, they just sound like Mark Wahlberg lines. They don't sound like Sully lines. A thing. I don't know.
But again, is that because it's coming out of Mark Wahlberg's mouth and not coming from...
I don't know. Maybe it's just because he's not acting.
Play Sully.
He's just reading his lines, but he's not actually acting as a character. He's just being himself. Maybe learn to act, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Harsh. Very harsh.
I mean, to a degree, it's like both of them. That's my thing. It's like, it just seems like Mark Wahlberg doing his typical Mark Wahlberg thing, and then Tom Holland doing typical Tom Holland. Like, neither seem to be... Maybe that's why they got hired. I guess that's what they got. They're like, just do your thing. Do what, why people love you. But not working for me. What are you rating this?
1 up, 1 down, leaning towards 2 up. But yeah.
I'm double down.
I enjoyed it.
Double down.
Wow.
What? There's only 3 ways I can take the rating system.
It is 3 ways, yeah.
I can't commit to a 1 up, 1 down, so it's a double down. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Rip.
There's another thing. Interesting that they included the promotion for the video games at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, but there was another Sony thing I watched recently where they had a trailer at the end that was like a tacked on trailer to buy the new DualSense color. I'm like, okay. I don't remember what it was. Like, it could have been like Ghostbusters or some shit.
That's true. But do you reckon... obviously, we haven't seen this in theaters yet. Do you reckon they'd have the promotion for the video game? In which case, it's kind of odd. Because it's like...
I reckon they could put a trailer for the game
What?
in the trailers that play before the movie. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with that. I think it would be weird if literally like movie ends and like do 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 credits, and then the game trailer plays. Like it would be real. That would be weird. Yeah.
Do you reckon they'll do? You know how sometimes when books get adapted into movies, they do special copies of the book with like the movie poster on it. Do you reckon they'd do that for the Uncharted?
I mean, they've done that. Oh no,
a slip in the case.
Maybe when they release the collection, you can flip the cover and it's got the movie cast. But maybe they don't have enough of those characters to do a full movie cast because we don't know if they've got Sam. Who else is on the cover?
No, I don't think so.
They definitely don't have Uncharted 4 cast.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'll be really interesting when they cast Nadine. Like, will they cast a white woman or?
And fix it in post. Yeah.
I like Laura Bailey, but it's still a weird point of contention.
Yeah, that casting isn't aged well.
Yeah. Wait, Nadine's white. She was always white in the game. Oh dear. Here's my last question before we wrap up the show, I guess. Here's an important one. Here's an actual important one. Will Mark Wahlberg say, Nate, no?
Oh, please.
Because it'd be the equivalent of, what? No. He's just going to change it to, Nate? No.
I mean, Nate's never going to die in the thing. That's the thing.
No, but he can fall.
That's the major.
And like catch something.
Yeah, I guess. I guess, that would be a nice piece of fan service.
Yeah. For us, anyway. I can then rip that
line. We finally have some freaking audio. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Like I tweeted out, it's like really difficult to find. It's a meme, but it's impospable to find any footage.
How do you reckon I felt when I was trying to quickly chuck together some bullshit like 5-minute job for the interlude on the video of this because I didn't want to spend much time doing it. And I'll type it in YouTube, like, Nate, no. Nope.
No. It's a meme, but there's no proof of the meme.
Yeah. I had to scroll through like 10 minutes of gameplay to see someone die or whatever to find the line. Like no one's bothered to. It's weird. Yeah. Alright. Let us know what you think of the Uncharted trailer. You can give us your thumbs rating on either Twitter or Discord. Find our Twitters, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Find our Discord, explosionnetwork.com/Discord. I think the rating... What was the rating? I think I did it. There was that quick poll I chucked on. I just remembered. Should fucking check that. What was the final results of that? Let's have a squiz before I wrap things all up. The trailer got a 57% vote of Nate no. So higher people disliking it than liking it. But give us your thumbs rating on Discord or Twitter. And then if you'd like to donate, head to explosionnetwork.com/support. And you can make sure that Ash has a 4K TV to watch the next trailer of this song.
I had nothing to do with that.
You can make sure he has a 4K TV to appreciate the trailer, and he's not just watching it in SD like a maniac.
Maybe that's the improvement. It's like you can't tell the...
I don't that really doesn't help the character lines or anything, trust me. It's a visual thing. But
sure.
Yeah. Until next episode, remember, every trophy counts. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.